You know, we're really fortunate to have Dennis come and speak to us. He's been an icon in the field. IDEO is one of the most admired companies in the world. I'm going to do a little bit of speaking, a little bit of a talk. If it works.
Oh, there's a different clicker for
this should be the one.
Yours.
There we go. And so before we start, I'm going to play a little video. Hopefully you can all.
Older adults see tech everywhere. Their kids and grandkids are using it, but it's so complicated with so many options. In just a few years, there could be 1 billion confused older adults. Meanwhile, big tech is searching for the next big thing. They ask themselves, how can I get more features? How can I get more functions? Then there's tech for aging, hoping big tech will notice. Tech for aging is solving problems. Dementia, medicine, mobility. But in many ways, doing in a vacuum. How do we cross this great divide? The goal of the Avenidas Generations Lab is to help bridge the divide, to build the ecosystem. Join together, work together to create great products. Great products that we can use, buy, and enjoy. For more information, go to www.avenidas.org/generationslab or call 650-289-5400.
So that's my commercial.
Older.
Right? And so, you know, I have a lot of conversations. You know, I spent my entire career in the tech world. And I kind of got tired of it. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be George Jetson sitting as a cog pushing a button, right? And so I went out and I found something that was a little more value added, and I found this industry. And this industry, you know, I spent the last 10 months really just kind of analyzing and figuring out what we're going to do. And I came away with this kind of epiphany or this idea. I said, hey, you know what? There's going to be 1 billion people by 2020 that's over the age of 65. Tech is everywhere, right? And if you've ever had a conversation with me, I say, you know, here's the thing. We don't have an ecosystem for technology for aging. You know, people say, oh, you know, I'm a baby boomer, I'm a Gen X, and I'm going to be great with technology as I get older. The problem is, as we get older, we have different needs, right? I look and, you know, when I was a kid or when I was younger, I used to play games and video games and computer games. I was pretty good. At least I thought I was pretty good. But then I go to my kid's Xbox and I'm lost, right? I have no idea what I'm doing. And it's confusing, right? And technology is going to keep changing, right? So here's the thing that I said I was going to do. I said, I'm going to build this ecosystem, or at least I'm going to help build this ecosystem as best we can. That means a bunch of different things. But I also believe that everybody in this room, all of you all touch and interact with, whether it's marketing or technology people or your neighbors or your friends or whatever, everybody has a role in playing to form this ecosystem. In my mind, there's really 3 essential parts that we're going to try to work together. Right? The first one for technologists, for makers, is really everything's got to work together. Right? If you build a smart home, do I need a Wink hub? Do I need Amazon? Do I need Google Home? Do I need something else to kind of connect everything? It doesn't help, right? Because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. We need to make sure that the people who are building products can work with each other, can complement each other, can increase that value stack, right? We, as a group, everybody, and that technologists and makers help us feel more comfortable with their creations and really make value and add value to our lives. And we should all feel empowered to be able to do so. Second, accessibility. Right? The first one, complementary, interoperability. Second thing is accessibility. I always like to tell stories, so I'll tell a story. I was doing a tutoring for a student at Avenidas, and she says, you know, I want to have some help with my smartphone. I said, okay, I can help you with that. She's like, well, I have a smartphone. It's been in my purse this whole time. It's always off. I said, well, why? You know, you have it. Your kids gave it to you, or you bought it yourself. Why is it in your purse? She's like, well, you know, I'm kind of always upset. You know, I walk into an elevator, and there's always somebody doing this, right? Looking at their phone. And I know you've all seen it. But then I said, but wait a second. Back in the day when there was a newspaper, right, and you walked in an elevator, they're reading a newspaper, you wouldn't have interrupted either. I said, so really, it's just a device and it's a tool, but it's the same thing. People are busy, they want to read, they want to do other things, and you wouldn't interrupt them. But the stigma of technology kind of changes how that is, right? So it made me really think about what we're doing here and what we're doing with technology, okay? A newspaper really has everything we want. I used to love my newspaper. I used to every morning read the Sporting Green, the Chronicle. But the newspaper has news and information, right? Entertainment. It has sports. It has classified ads. It has games for you to play on. Kind of like what we have in our delivery systems of the internet and everything else, right? But here's the other thing when I talk about accessibility of newspapers. When you open up a newspaper, you really didn't have any instructions. It was there. You knew what to do. We need to reach for that same type of accessibility. It was also delivered to your home. It was on every corner. It was at the store. We need to be able to have that, right? Accessibility. It's always aware for us or around for us. So the third thing, right, and I kind of oversimplify a little bit about the newspaper, because with the newspaper, you kind of needed a few things. You needed to know how to read, right? We needed to have some level of curiosity. We had to have some interests. Right? All those things are what happens with a newspaper. But in today's world, it's very much like reading a newspaper, the internet, the digital world. But the problem is it's in a different language. Right? In order for us to understand and utilize the new delivery systems in the digital world, we have to educate ourselves. We have to re-educate ourselves to not only know what or we have to change what we knew to what we need to know in order to access this information, okay? So the education is a big part, like I said, the third part. But this is also why Avenice is very excited to the West Coast. Senior Plant is the leading technology educator group in the country. And we're going to bring them out here and utilize their curriculum. So we have a couple of things, right? We have interoperability, we have accessibility, we have education. Those are kind of some of the things at the forefront of our vision for the Generations Lab. And we're working on these to facilitate these things in a few different ways. First, through the formation of the Silicon Valley Technology for Aging Group, in partnership with Aging 2.0 and their local chapter, we're bringing makers together to start the conversation. Start the conversation about accessibility, interoperability, ease of use, right? We also are working to engage the consumers, right? We're working to engage, we've partnered with Tech Enhanced Life, and we've brought another Longevity Explorer Circle to Avenidas. And what we'll do is we join these two groups together, and they can have the conversation, hopefully making the development of useful products that much quicker. We're also developing what we call the Community Coalition. It's a community coalition is a group of organizations, like-minded organizations, that we can do things like have thought leadership. We can share things. We can create thought leadership. Right? We want to continue with the goodness that we have created here in the Bay Area. Right now we have partners in New York and South Florida. We're pending partners in LA. We hope to extend that even further. All right. We're also building tools. Right? The Generations Lab is building tools. We're building tools where we can hope that we can deliver content that people want and want to use, whether it's community-centered content, mindfulness content, services, key services, health, financial technology that allows and helps with the ease of use, okay? And our plan is to not only just do this and build a front end, but we want to be able to modularize this and deliver it to everywhere else that has access or wants access. So if you live in a residential community center, we'll deliver it to them, right? If you use Cubigo, which is at other residential services centers. We'll deliver it to you. We'll deliver you the package that allows you to go ahead and grab all the content and all the services that you want and need and be able to use it wherever you're at.